Okay, I have a Mako, 1995 Mako that I repowered. Put a new Mercury motor on it, actually a rebuilt motor, and was able to put a couple of these gauges to go with the new motor. 2005 Optimax. Only has the computer display, doesn't have the computer controls. I bought these new about 3 or 4 years ago, and as you can see, they've already faded. Now, I'm thinking that a lot of boaters out there have the same problem. I see it advertised on eBay, I see it advertised in different areas about what you can do to fix your sun-faded gauges. I contacted one gentleman who was kind enough to give me the information to show me how to fix it, or tell me how to fix it. And I did one already, and it basically just comes down to the fact that there's two lenses in here. There's the outside lens, and then there's an inside lens. And the inside lens is the one that's fading. And what the instructions are about is how to remove that inside lens. Now, I've already done one. You can see what the inside lens looks like once it's faded. And what you end up with after you're done is you end up getting rid of some tabs so you can get both lenses out, and you pull this lens and then you just put it all back together. Now you might ask, why would you do this? And I think my reason was I'd gotten to the point where I couldn't even read them anymore, and instead of going out and spending $500 for a new set of gauges at best, sometimes it run as much as $900. I'd pretty much given up. I thought, well, okay, I'm done with them anyway, so let's give this a try. Let's see if we can go ahead and pull this inner lens out and at least make these usable for maybe another season or two. It'd be nice to get down the road for another season or two and move this cost out a little further. So at some point in time, I'm sure there's a reason this lens is in there, and I'm sure that by opening it up, you're probably going to introduce moisture into it. But if you've already made the decision you're going to buy new gauges anyway, or you're thinking about it, what harm is there? I mean, you might as well go ahead and see if you can get another couple of seasons out of it. So what my video is about is my experience in removing these. As I said, I've done one already. I did the speed one. So this is the RPM one. Fortunately, in doing this, you do not have to remove any of the back. You don't have to worry about these screws. You don't have to worry about trying to get this out or pulling the circuit board out or anything like that. What you're looking for here is this edge right along here, where the bezel meets the main housing. It goes all the way around. So you can see, like underneath here, for instance, there's how you can line the bezel up with the notch. And what you're going to end up doing is you're going to pull this bezel off. So let me go ahead and try to do that. Now, if you've got lumberjack hands with big fingers, this can be a little tedious. So you go get your girlfriend, your wife, or your daughter. They might have some fingernails, and see if they can work with it, and let them look at the video and see what you're doing. So what I do is I just get my fingernails in here best I can, and I work around it. You can see where it opens a little bit, and if I get my fingernail all the way around there, I know I'm probably pretty clear to open it. So now I just start prying it off. You can see here it's starting to come. I'm going to pry it off a little more. Going to pry it off a little more, and it pops off. Okay, so that's the bezel part. Now we're down to how do I get this lens out of here? Well, it turns out there are tabs on these lenses that stick into these areas here. And when the plastic is new, this will snap in there fairly easily and hold it in place. Well, once the plastic gets old, trying to pull this out of here and keep these tabs in place is almost impossible. So don't even try it, because even when you break them off and get the lens out, there's nothing to worry about, because this bezel is going to hold this back in place anyway, for the most part. The gentleman who gave me the instructions, what he said he does sometimes is he just goes ahead and puts some hot glue in there to hold it in place, but I didn't even bother with that. And also he recommended using a Dremel tool to cut these out all the way around. And I found that that was a little messy. So the only thing I've been doing is I've just been going in here, take a pair of needle nose, and I break one side off and I break the other side off, and I pull that tab out. So there's one. Now I'm going to try and leave maybe these two down here intact, but just so I can line them up. When I first attempted to do this, I was really concerned about breaking these off. And this was about a year or so ago when I first saw about removing this inner lens. And I broke a couple of them, and I thought to myself, well, you know, I'm not going to fool with this anymore because I'm afraid I'm going to damage the instrument. But at this point, the instrument's almost useless. And I'm at the point where it's like, better this than spending money on buying new ones. So I'm going to leave these two here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out on this side here. So you can see I'm ending up with a lot of extra pieces here, plastic. So now what you need to do is you need to get in here and remove this lens. And so you kind of want to do this without breaking this outer lens, because this is the lens that you're going to use. So what you can do is if you can find that edge right in there and just start working your way around it. Easy and easy. So you don't want to break those tabs. You can kind of hear it start to go as it opens up. Kind of like working with watches. It's just small areas, and you're dealing with plastic. Okay, so here we start to see it come apart, just opening up, and there it is there. So now you got your nice clean instrument inside, and we have our dual lens right here. So the next part of this is we want to take this inner lens out, leaving only the outer lens. There's a couple suggestions on this. One is to remove the gasket altogether, but I have found that if I just start working this, I can usually just work the lens out from the inside. So what I'm getting a hold of here is this edge right here. I'm trying to pull away from this edge here, and that should leave the gasket where it's at. And depending on, I guess, the age of the instrument and how much abuse it's had, this part might be a little tricky because of the salt water and the sun and things like that. Now, that's another point too, is this doesn't necessarily fix all of these problems. It just happens to be if you have a gauge that has that happens to have this problem with this inner lens, and this will fix it. But if you've got a busted outer lens or moisture inside there, other things that are causing you not to be able to read it, this won't do you much good. Keep working it around. It's the inner lens breaking, I think, which I'm not too worried about. So you can see it's starting to come out now. Okay, so there it is. Looks like I broke it, but that's okay. So now you have the gasket left on the outer shell. So I kind of place this gasket back on. Now what I like to do is take maybe a little WD-40. In this case, it's some marine lubricant, just enough to put some on the gasket to allow it to maybe go in there a little bit, or a little easier. Not too much, because you don't want to get, of course, you don't want to get it on the inside. Run down my fingers here, so I just keep working around here. So what I'm going to do now is take a wet paper towel, clean my hands so I don't get any spots on the inside of it. And so we should be in a position to put this back together. So what I'm going to do is try to line up the bottom ones first, the ones that I did not break. Get those in. And then push the top in. Okay, so we can see now we've got a much cleaner looking display without the faded bezel in there, without the faded lens in there. And now we'll go ahead and put our old bezel back on. And hopefully that's it. We get maybe another season out of it. Maybe another season, maybe 2 seasons. And at some point in time, when I have more money, or at least money to spend on this, I will buy some new instruments. So thanks for watching. Hope that helps out.